Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're doing something pretty cool. We are cracking open the actual strategy guide for a really sophisticated AI trading system. We're going to go under the hood and see its exact game plan, its hard-coded rules, and its kind of unique, counterintuitive philosophy on what it really means to win. So, let's just jump right in with a question. A question that this entire strategy for a very specific day, September 12th, 2025, is built around. It's a question that really challenges our whole idea of what success looks like in a game of probabilities. So this system, it's called the Omni-Profit Nexus, had just come off 2 straight days of what it calls flawless execution. I mean, we are talking a 100% win rate. Every single trade was a winner. Now, for most people, that would be a reason to celebrate, right? To maybe even ramp up the risk. But not for this AI. In fact, instead of doubling down, the system did the complete opposite. It issued something called a perfection warning. And this right here is the core idea of its whole strategy. The system saw its own success as the single biggest risk factor. It saw perfection as a flashing red light that a losing streak or a return to the average was pretty much statistically guaranteed to happen next. And that warning, it wasn't just a suggestion. It triggered a massive system-wide shift in strategy. The AI immediately flipped into a defensive mode it calls Balanced Hunter, and its prime directive became crystal clear. Preservation first, convexity second. In plain English, protect the money you've already made before you go hunting for those big, explosive new wins. All right, so when this AI decides to play defense against its own success, what does that actually look like? Well, it's a series of really aggressive, pre-programmed defensive moves. First things first, it slammed on the brakes, hard. It cut the maximum size for any single trade from 5% down to 3.5%, and it slashed its total exposure to the market by a full third, dropping from 18% of the portfolio all the way down to 12%. And look, we're not talking about a little trim here and there. Every single trading position got an immediate haircut of about 30%, a huge reduction across the board. But honestly, that wasn't even the biggest change. No, the biggest move was this. A whopping 44% of the entire portfolio got yanked out of the market and stuffed into cash. This creates what the system calls a mean reversion buffer, basically a giant financial cushion ready to soak up the damage when that inevitable market dip finally arrives. So here's what the portfolio looks like after all that shuffling. You can just see that huge chunk of cash, 44%, sitting on the sidelines, acting as a shield. The rest of the capital is still in the game, but it's deployed much more cautiously and focused on just a few key assets. Okay, so the system's got its shields up. How does it actually decide to trade? Well, it keeps things simple. It focuses on just 4 key assets, and to make the strategy clear, it gives each one a personality, a specific role to play. Think of them like characters in a chess game. First up, you've got SPY, the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. The system calls this the anchor. Basically, everything revolves around it. It's the big ship that tells you which way the tide of the entire market is flowing. Then there's Tesla, TSLA. Its job is the amplifier. It's in the game specifically because it's so volatile. So if the anchor, SPY, is pointing up, the system uses Tesla to basically crank up the volume and try to magnify those potential profits. Player number 3 is Bitcoin, or BTC, which the system calls the gatekeeper. Now, its job isn't really to make money directly. It's more of a confirmation signal. A strong Bitcoin tells the system that the whole market is feeling confident, feeling risky, and that the gate is open for business. And last, but definitely not least, is the VEX, the market's fear index. Its role is the fragility governor, and trust me, it is the boss. If the VIX starts screaming that fear is getting too high, it has total veto power. It can shut the whole operation down, no questions asked. So you have to understand, this defensive posture, it isn't just a friendly suggestion. It's a fortress built with hard-coded, totally unbreakable rules. This is where you really see that cold, hard AI discipline in action. And the most important rule of all is the kill switch. This is the big red button, and it doesn't get pushed for just one reason. It takes 2 specific things happening at the exact same time. The anchor, SPY, has to fall below its critical price, while the governor, the VIX, rises above its key fear level. And if that kill switch ever gets hit, The order is simple. It's absolute. Flatten all. That means get out of everything now. Sell every position, go to 100% cash, and live to fight another day. Now, besides that main game over button, each of those 4 players has its own specific tripwire. If Tesla breaks down, if Bitcoin's signal turns weak, or if the VIX starts getting nervous, each one triggers its own precise and pre-planned defensive action. Okay, so we've got the players, we've got their rules, we've got the defensive mindset. How does this all come together on the actual trading day? Let's look at the minute-by-minute execution plan. You can see the day is just rigidly scheduled. There are specific times for scanning the market, for entering trades, and for optimizing profits. And look at that last step. It's crucial. A mandatory exit at 3 p.m. for any 0 DTE positions. Those are options that expire that very same day. That is a hard, non-negotiable rule to get rid of all overnight risk. The system doesn't even leave taking profits up to emotion. It has this predefined plan called a tier ladder for the anchor SPY. It shows exactly how much profit to lock in at certain price targets. The moment a target is hit, boom, the system automatically sells a piece of the position. It's all about pure mechanical discipline. So when you put it all together, what's the key takeaway? It's a system built entirely on discipline. Profit protection is always priority number 1. There's a clear chain of command, with the VIX as the governor and SPY as the anchor. And every single action is dictated by a strict, unbreakable set of rules. And all this really leaves us with a fascinating final thought. We often think of AI as a tool to help us achieve flawless results. But maybe, just maybe, the true sign of advanced intelligence isn't just being able to be perfect, it's having the wisdom to know that perfection itself is the most dangerous thing of all.